Have you ever felt like you're doing everything right, working hard, delivering results, staying consistent, but your career isn't moving at pace? I have been there, and that's when I realized something important. Doing your job well alone doesn't grow your career. Career growth doesn't happen by chance. It happens by taking ownership. Early in my career, my focus was simple. I started my career in a very technical, hands-on role. My world was about execution, solving the problems on the ground, delivering reliably, and I learned a lot. I became more confident, consistent, and dependable. But over time, I noticed something. I remember a moment where I had delivered a strong piece of work. Everything went well. All the stakeholders were happy. But when the next opportunity came, I was not even part of the conversation. Being good at my job wasn't changing the trajectory. The work improved, and that's when I had my first realization. If I continue doing only what is expected out of me, I'll continue to stay where I am. So I started doing something differently. I volunteered to support learning and development, which I was absolutely passionate about, but had no experience. I'll be honest, that was uncomfortable at first. I wasn't the expert in the room anymore. I had to rethink, how can I add value? Suddenly, it was not about only doing the work. It was about understanding people, capability gaps, and performance issues. I had to think beyond tasks, understand what skills are needed, how teams grow, and how can I help improve performance. And no one specifically told me to do all of this. I had to take ownership of learning it. I started asking, why are we doing this? What are the expected outcomes? And how does this create a positive impact on the business? And that's when my perspective started expanding. Over time, as I took more responsibilities, I realized something else. Opportunities don't always come clearly defined. Sometimes they show up as problems nobody is fully owning. That's where ownership really shows up. For example, I remember a situation where a capability gap was affecting performance, but it didn't really sit with one specific team. Instead of waiting, I stepped up to help define what good looks like and started working with the leaders to create a framework around it. None of this was just assigned work. It was my choice to step beyond my role, outside my comfort zone. And that's when my career started accelerating. Not because I got promoted or my role changed immediately, but it was because how I showed up changed. Now, when we say take ownership of your career, it sounds simple, but it's often misunderstood. Ownership is not about doing everything yourself or doing more. It's about being intentional. For me, it came down to three things. Clarity. What kind of growth do I want? Not just titles, but it was about learning, impact, and direction. Visibility. Is my work being understood and recognized? Because good work matters, but visible work creates opportunities. Direction. What am I choosing to take up next and why? Because every role, every project you take on either takes you forward or keeps you where you are. When I look back at different roles in my career, the biggest growth didn't come from waiting. It came from stepping into things before I felt I'm fully ready. In my early career, I thought I was doing everything right. But looking back, I realized I was doing only what was visible to me, not what was needed for growth. Learning new areas, working with different stakeholders, effectively listening, and sometimes taking decisions without having complete clarity and figuring out things along the way because time was ticking. Because the reality is, growth doesn't come with perfect instructions, it comes with ownership. Here's where many people get stuck in their career. They assume good work will speak for itself. They wait to be noticed, to be guided, and given direction about their career growth. And over time, the waiting becomes stagnation because effort alone doesn't drive growth. Intentional effort does. If you think about what we discussed in my previous videos, impact, credibility, communication, all of that matters. But none of it works if you're not actively driving your own direction. Remember, when it comes to personal or professional development, you are in the driver's seat, not anyone else. So here's one thing which I've learned across different roles in my career. Your career doesn't grow automatically. It grows by taking ownership. When you stop waiting and start making intentional choices. So don't hesitate to be vocal about your career aspirations. Build your network. Find the right mentor. Speak to your manager. Get a succession plan built in. But focus on what you're passionate about. Demonstrate how your skills can help create a positive impact into the business and solve real problems. Let me leave you with this. If nothing changed around you, your role, your manager, or your environment, would your career still move forward? If the answer is no, it's time to take ownership of your career. Ask yourself, what am I doing differently to grow my career? And if this video has helped you think differently and challenged you to take ownership of your career, please share it with your friends who are working hard but are yet to take ownership of their career. This is Talent Talks with Sagar, helping you grow with intention, take ownership, and build a career that moves forward because you chose to do it. Please don't forget to like and subscribe to my channel for more videos. Thank you for watching.